Welcome to Data Masking with Percona Server for MySQL. My name is David Stokes, or Dave. I am a technology evangelist at Percona. I'm a longtime open source advocate, especially in the database world. I'm an author, and I do a whole bunch of other things on the side. So today we're talking about data masking. You've never run into this before. It's a handy tool to obscure sensitive information. Now, it comes for free with MySQL's Percona Server MySQL, which is itself a free, fully compatible open source drop-in replacement for MySQL. One of the things you get for free with Percona Server MySQL is data masking. And if you don't know how does data masking work? Well, basically what happens is the server obscures the output so the sensitive data is not displayed. As you'll see in later examples, there are lots of options to help you with your needs here. Installation is real simple. Log in as root, and once you get through all the copyright notices and all that, you type install plugin data masking and give it the shared object name in single quotes data_masking.so. It will come back and tell you query OK, and you're now ready to use data masking. Now, the two basic masks out there are mask inner and mask outer. And you'll see that how they work in just a second. But first we need some data to work with. So let's create a table called sensitive data where we have an ID column where you can identify all the rows. And we have our secret data in a column called hush hush. Insert 2 rows. Now notice that the second column's data starts with a 0. Be advised if you're using integers, that will probably disappear because leading zeros aren't kept. That's why you often see character data types when you expect to see an integer. Now, the mask inner will mask with either the character of your choice or use the default of an X, the inner characters of the column, and mask outer does just the opposite. So if we go out and we select our hush hush column, we're going to do it 3 times, original, the mask inner, and the mask outer, you see that the original is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. If we're using mask inner and masking off the first 2 characters, not masking the first 2 characters or the last 3 characters, you see that becomes 1, 2, XXXXX, 8, 9, 0. And with the outer, it just does the opposite. In this case, we're masking off the first 3 and last 3 characters. The first 3 are X's, the last 3 are X's. Now, you might notice here that we're using the convert function. This is ensure that the multi-byte character set does not overwhelm the functions they're going to. Now, in the United States, Social Security numbers are not supposed to be used as a general identifier, although in practical terms, it seems that everyone does that. So, of course, there's a special mask just for SSNs. So, once again, we need some dummy data. So we're going to create a table called employee where we have an employee ID number, their name, and an 11-character Social Security number. Now, it has to be 11 characters. Yes, it has to be 11 characters or it will error out on you. So we insert 3 rows of data. And when we go to get our information, notice here that I'm selecting the data we want out here. I type in mask SSN as mask SSN. Notice that we're only getting the last 4 digits of the Social Security number. Now, credit card numbers. If you're using PCI or other compliance for credit card information, you'll know that they are not known as credit card numbers, they're known as primary account numbers. And there's a special mask just for those. So we're going to alter our employee table and we're going to add a column called CC. And we're going to update everything to have the same CC number. Maybe it's a company credit card. So when we run mask pan, the identifier number that we have there on CC, you notice we just get the last 4 digits. Now, how do you use this in real life? If you haven't used a view before, we'll talk about that in just a second. So you might be asking, well, how can you force someone to use a mask? I mean, if they have access to the data, they have access to the data. And that's not very secure. And if they have select privilege on that, they can get whatever they want. You can't peek over their shoulder all the time and make sure they're forcing the mask on there. Well, the traditional way to do this is to protect the raw data with a view. Now, a view can have a different privilege than the person using it. You'll see how that works in just a second. Now, the best of all is the view can be treated like a table. So the information you pull from the view can be run through a windowing function, some sort of aggregate function. They can't see the secret data, the sensitive data underneath, but they can manipulate what they do get, which has been masked. And if you do combine a view with a masked protected data, the trick is that you have to make sure that you're consistent about it. Make sure you set it up, use it, and maintain the use of the view and enforce it. So we're going to create a new account, create user nopriv at wildcard. It was set up with no, this in case it was set up with no grants, so they have no permissions. And if we try to log in directly as nopriv to the test schema, we get an access denied because they have no grants, no privileges on that database. Now, if we just log in generally without specifying a database, and we try to access something from the test schema, that employee table we set up earlier with the social security numbers in there, you can see that they get denied, error 1142. So we know right now that our user nopriv cannot get to the sensitive data, which is what we want, but they need access to some of it. So we're going to set up a mask. Now we're going to log in as root or some other similar privileged account, and we're going to create a view. And this view is going to have a select statement in there where part of it is mask, using mask pan or the credit card number. And if we run this as the privileged user, select star from the view that we've created here, you see that we get the ID, the name, and the mask credit card number. Now here comes the interesting bit. If we, still as a privileged user, grant select on the view to our nopriv user, when they run it, it runs as the privileged user. Now, to make sure this works, we have to log out of our unprivileged nopriv account, log back in to have the changes, so you can get this this grant initialized when the account when you come back in. Now, as the unprivileged user, we can get the mask data from the sensitive employee table without giving them access to all the sensitive data. So, as our nopriv user, we do select star from EC1, and voila, there is our sensitive data or mask sensitive data to an unprivileged user. Now to wrap up, data masking is a powerful technique to keep sensitive data protected. And Percona Server gives you this data masking for free with our open source Percona Server for MySQL software. Now, if you want to use this from other folks, you're going to have to make a financial deal with them. So, final wrap up. Data masking can obscure sensitive data from your server. There are several masks available with Percona Server MySQL. Using masks with views can prevent unauthorized access to sensitive data. And if you have questions, contact us at Percona. We're the MySQL experts and experts in a lot of other areas in open source databases. And with that, thank you for watching and have a good day.